This conference will now be recorded.
All right. So in the morning session, we talked about this, right? Split trial balance into different parts. Let's understand how these different parts are identified from your trial balance. Now, before we start this or before we load the data, you will have one more field in your trial balance called as profit center. Let me shift this a little right side. You are going to have profit center here. Okay. The number of profit centers that your client operating, all of those will be part of this. What they will do in the profit center, let's say if you have two profit centers, profit center 1, profit center 2, the amount of your local currency, the amount of your group currency will be divided between these two profit centers. Now let's say the profit center 1, profit center 2 are having equal number, maybe 70%, 30%. So it is up to your client to decide the differentiation or split between the two profit centers. They will give you the breakup of your total balance with the two profit centers. Let's say if this is 3 lakh, they might give you 2 lakh here, 1 lakh here. The end point is again the same. Profit center wise, again it should be 0. And if you club these two profit center figures, it should match your total figure. Now this sum of two profit centers is 3 lakh. If you look at the profit center wise balance in local currency, that should be 3 lakh, which means vertically and horizontally it must be tallying. Clear?
S-
Now, here with the profit centers information being available, let's now talk about this TB split. First one, GL open items balance sheet. So when I say this, we need breakup of all the transactions which are open only. Now, how do you identify GL open items? While creating the chart of account, in the control data tab, we enable open item management tick box, correct? Only for balance sheet accounts. All such accounts you will have to identify and ask your client to give the breakup of it. So your trial balance is 1.5 and against your trial balance, let's say if this is your trial balance, they will maintain different sheets within the trial balance giving the breakup of your data. Let's say assuming check incoming is a open item management account. What is the value in this? 20 lakhs.
s-
Value is 20 lakhs. Assuming this is your value, this is your balance. Now you need breakup of this. Why this 20 lakh is there as open? Your client will give you, let's say if there are some 10 transactions, or let's say them some 40 transactions are open. They will give you all the 40 transaction details, like 1, 2, until 40 they will give all the transactions. For each transaction they will give what is the value date if it is a check, what is the check number, all this information will be provided. You have to upload all those 40 transactions individually in SAP. In short, 40 line items will be uploaded. So when we say that, when I open this GL account in SAP, I am supposed to show all those 40 items as open on my SAP system. FAGLL03. Let's say currently there is nothing in this cash. Assuming like this, if there are 40 line items, you will have to record 40 transactions like this. This is not an open item management, this is a line item. If it is open item, what you will find? You will find a red radio button, right? Open item radio button will be displayed for your open item management. In short, if you upload your trial balance, when I look at this GL account after uploading the trial balance, I have to get all these 40 transactions open on my account. So that once I start using SAP, I may have to perform my bank reconciliation statement or any other transaction, for which I need all the breakup of open transactions from my legacy system. So this is what we mean when we talk about open item management GL breakup. Let's say if there are around 70 open item GLs like this, for those 70 open item GLs, whatever the number of transactions that are there, let's say there are some 400 open transactions, your client will give you all the 400 open transactions at each line item wise. So you have to make sure sum of this 40 transactions is totaling to the exact figure. Here sometimes you will get challenges, the total may not match, sometimes there will be a slight mismatches. So if you are blindly going and uploading data, then you are at risk. Anything that you are loading in SAP, before loading, make sure that you are doing thorough reconciliation. Okay, clear? When we say GL open items for balance sheet, whatever the GL account is maintained as open item, you need all the open transaction list, and you will have to upload that transaction wise. Next one, GL non-open item balance sheet accounts. For this, breakup is not required. When I say breakup is not required, what do we mean? Let's say for this account also, your client is having around 9 transactions. So these kind of a GL accounts which are non-open item, we do not need the breakup of each transaction. What we will do, we will simply take the total of that account balance. In this case, what is the account balance total? 1,22,500. This 1,22,500 will be uploaded as a single entry. So there will be no breakup for this. So you cannot see why 1,22,500 was uploaded as opening. If you want any breakup, you'll have to refer your legacy system data. Clear?
Okay, got it. Yes, sir.
Next one is your fixed assets. For fixed assets, this is very, very important because here is where you get huge data. Here you'll get huge data. When we say huge data, now let's say your company is established in in 2003. Possible? Your client or your company may be established in 2023 and now your SAP you are implementing in 2023. Now there may be huge number of assets that the company was operating from 2003 till 2023 from the past 20 years, right? So you will have to see total assets are how many, active assets are how many, or inactive or expired assets are how many. Okay, this number is what you'll have to get first. Normally, what you have to upload is this active assets is to be uploaded. Okay, inactive or expired assets, it depends on the client. Some clients, they want to have the expired asset data also to be uploaded in SAP. Okay, when we say active assets, what do we mean when I say active asset? Asset has net book value, correct? Huh? The asset has any value left in it, that is called as active asset. Is that statement correct? Inactive asset means asset has no net book value. Okay, when we say no net book value, asset has become zero. When we say zero, it's a complete zero. Now, this is anyways to be uploaded, active assets, but inactive assets can be or cannot be uploaded. Both are possible. Some clients, they insist, no, we want expired assets also to be loaded in SAP, only for the reporting purpose. Okay, some clients will tell, no, we want expired assets or inactive assets also to be loaded in SAP. No other option, you have to load them. Because with that, there is no financial impact, but they can run the report. They can have the report of the legacy assets also, old assets, which was used maybe 5 years ago, 10 years ago, they wanted to have the record and system. In such cases, you will have to load both active and inactive together. Some clients, they will tell, no, expired assets we do not want. Let them be in the legacy system only. Let us upload or let us bring only active assets where there is net book value into SAP. This is also possible. Both scenarios are possible. Tomorrow, if somebody is asking you in your interview, do you upload expired assets also into SAP? It purely depends on the client decision. Right? So you can upload, you cannot upload depending on the client requirement. But ideally, there is no difference by uploading this or not uploading this. We may take a decision based on the number of assets. Let's say there are some 40,000 expired assets. It is not recommended that you load huge data into SAP. You're consuming database space and all. So we'll tell no, it is not relevant. You can manage your legacy asset which is already expired in your legacy system, or have a backup, have a dump of it, manage with that Excel sheet or whatever the source you have. But if the count is less, we will go ahead with it. Clear? Now, when we are talking about asset, so asset data migration. So let's talk in a generic way here because there are slight differences of asset data upload with respect to ECC and S4HANA. But I'll explain you in a generic way. So first, what you'll have to do is you have to be clear with your project go live date. According to our example, what was the project go live date?
15th.
15th March.
15th March 2023. Right? Now, project go live year. What is the project go live year?
2023.
2023. Okay, so you have to pay attention at this number, year. Now, on the assets list we get from client, we have to look at the asset acquisition date and year. Okay, once you receive the list of assets, you have to look at the asset acquisition date and year. When we say asset acquisition date and year, we also mean asset capitalization date. Clear? Write that also. Acquisition capitalization date and year. When we talk about asset acquisition date or capitalization date, do we mean asset purchase date? Correct? The date when asset was put to use or the date when asset was purchased. Let's say asset name, asset code, let's legacy system asset code, asset acquisition date, acquisition value, depreciation current year, depreciation. What was your go live date year?
2023.
So depreciation till 2022. Like this, you will get the information, assuming this is simple format. Let's say Dell laptop. Asset code, maybe I'll say Dell 123. Asset code is nothing but your legacy system, how this asset was represented, by what number. And acquisition date, I'll say 13 June 2018. Acquisition value, let's say 85,000. Depreciation, I'm not putting the proper calculated figures, I'm just putting it rough numbers. 2023, let's say 7,000 depreciation. Depreciation till 2022, let's put 48,000. What is the total depreciation till now? 48,000 plus 7,000, 55,000. Correct? This is
Yes.
your total depreciation. But when you get the breakup of your assets, you have to be very specific with respect to depreciation till last financial year and the depreciation of current financial year. Okay. And the other aspects like depreciation start date, useful life of the asset, expired useful life of the asset, that and all is part of your sheet. I'm not writing it currently. Oh,
The
let's
acquisition value means purchase cost of the asset, right, sir?
correct. Okay, some number, Creta car, I'll put 15, let's say 13 lakh. Current year depreciation, let's take 40,000. Till year 9 lakhs. Some imaginary figures I'm taking. Like this, you are going to consider. Let's take sofa set. So this value, let me say some 25,000. Depreciation last year is 0. Depreciation till 2025, 22 is 25,000, which means this is fully depreciated, third one. Correct? This sofa set is no longer active. Now here if I put net book value is this minus is equal to this value minus this minus this 30,000. Similarly, here is this much, here it's 0. Okay. Now, wherever you see net book value has already expired, you have to understand that it's an expired asset. If your net book value is coming as 0, it is an expired asset. How many expired assets we have currently? One. You have one expired asset. Now, like this, there will be a huge list. Maybe your list containing 2,000 assets or 5,000 assets, 10,000 assets also, depending on the client, depending on the nature of business. Now, what you are going to do, you are going to identify from this list acquisition year. Let me put acquisition year. What is the acquisition year for the first asset? 2018. Correct? Second year?
Yes, sir. 2015.
Third year? 2010.
2000.
Now, next, what we have to do, CYPY, current year or prior year. Let's try to fill this also. What is our current year in which you are going live in SAP?
2023.
2023. Whatever the asset purchased in 2023, here you are going to put as current year. Any asset purchased before 2023, which means until 2022, you are going to mark it as prior year acquisition. So this one is your current year or prior year. 2015 means, is this current year or prior year?
All are prior year.
Prior year. This is also prior year. Let's put a new asset.
MacBook Pro.
Let's say this was purchased last month. 1,20,000. This will be 0. And let's say so far the depreciation is posted only for 2 months, Jan and then February, because we are going to give trial balance of February. By the time you give trial balance, depreciation would have been already posted. Let's say some 8,000 is the depreciation. Net book value will be 1,12,000. Correct? Acquisition is 2023. Is this current year or prior year acquisition?
Current year.
This is your current year acquisition. Like this, you have to make your own sheet once you get the data from your client. So it will be a huge list, big Excel sheet you will receive from your client, especially for the fixed assets. Once you analyze the data, first thing that you'll have to do is segregate which asset is current year acquisition, which asset is prior year acquisition, because the treatment of current year is different, treatment of prior year is different when you're loading the data. Now, what exactly we do while loading the data? So we have to create asset master first, right? For prior year, you are going to use AS91. For current year, you are going to use AS01. So asset is created along with legacy values till last fiscal year. In our example, what is last fiscal year?
2022.
Here, asset alone is created. Values are uploaded at each asset wise separately. Okay. Now, clear with these two statements?
Yes, sir.
Once you have done these two, next thing that you will do is you have something called net book value. Net book value is APC minus accumulated depreciation. In this case, what is your APC? APC is always your acquisition and production cost. In short, it is your purchase value. For the first asset, what is the purchase value for Dell laptop?
85,000.
85,000. If I say 85,000, what is the accumulated depreciation? When you say accumulated depreciation, you are always representing last year
7,000.
until last fiscal year. Last fiscal year, 30,000. So 48,000.
48,000. 48,000. 85,000
So
minus 48,000.
85,000 minus, what was it?
40,000.
30,000.
30 or 40?
48. 85 minus 48. Okay. What will be the asset value? Net book value.
37,000 again. 37,000.
30.
37,000.
37,000. If you remove the current year depreciation 7,000, it will be 30,000 again. Now, when you are uploading the data, you are going to feed the system that your acquisition and production cost value is 85,000, and then your depreciation until last fiscal year is 48,000. So that system will know your current net book value for the current fiscal year is 37,000. And the depreciation is already posted in 2023. Assume it is 7,000. This is 7,000 is not manually posted. Clear? So current year depreciation will not be posted manually. Current year depreciation is not posted manually. So we will run depreciation program to post current year depreciation in the month of Feb 2023. Your trial balance is of 2023, right? So you will have to run the depreciation in the system for February, so that for the current year, system will calculate and run the depreciation for all the years. Sorry, for all the assets from current year first period till the last period of your legacy data. And we have different other activities like cutover date or data migration date. In asset accounting, you'll have to update when your asset cutover date or data migration date and when the depreciation was last posted in your legacy system, whether till first period or till 8th period, 7th period, so that accordingly system will do the adjustments and then calculate the remaining depreciation. Clear? So this we will do as a separate session, especially for the asset data uploading, but this is how you'll have to calculate the numbers. Okay. Next, you will have customer accounts. For this customer accounts, you will need the breakup at each customer wise. So your client will tell you at each customer wise what are the open invoices, what are the open credit memos, open advances, and open on account payments. All these transactions you will have to upload at each customer account level. If your customer account has, let's say, some 200 open invoices, overall, let's say some 340 transactions, you will have to record 340 entries in the customer account. And the net point that you have to consider here is this customer account is broken down into reconciliation account wise. If you look at your trial balance for the customer, we have written accounts receivable domestic, foreign, one time, intercompany employees, and then customer advances. Let's say accounts payable domestic, you have around some 440,000 or 440 customers. Out of 440 customers, let's say some 300 customers are having some open transactions. For this 300 customers, at each customer wise, you will get all the open transaction list along with the transaction date, amount, your discount terms, if any. All this information will be given. You will have to load the transaction into customer account at each invoice level or at each credit memo, advance, open payment level. When you are finished loading all the transactions of accounts payable domestic, if you run this report will give you the sum of all the 300 transactions that you have loaded. That number should exactly tally with this number and this number. If the numbers are not tallying, something went wrong. You have to sit back and then do a reconciliation to find out where mismatches are coming. Got my point?
Sir, in this step, customer will fill the Excel sheet and we need to upload that sheet, no, sir?
Right. So what your client is going to do, he is going to give you the customer breakup. In short, we will ask them for reconciliation wise breakup. Domestic customer, he will give you a different sheet. Foreign customer, different sheet. Likewise, in the domestic customer, all the 300 customer related transactions, let's say around 1400 transactions are open. All these 1400 transactions are of your domestic customers. When you do a total of this 1200 customer transactions, you should get exactly this figure. And when you are uploading this, you are going to debit or credit the customer depending on the transaction. And then you are going to give offset to your opening balance upload account or your cutover, takeover, migration clearing account. In short, accounting entry will be debit or credit to your customer account and the offsetting will be your migration takeover account. Okay. Any doubt in this? Okay. Now, similarly for your vendor accounts. the number of vendors, and in each vendor account, how many open transactions are there. Again, at vendor level, each transaction has to be uploaded. You'll have to debit or credit vendor account, giving offsetting to your migration takeover account. And your cash accounts. When we say cash account, we are talking about cash journal. So this cash journal value is not uploaded using the JV, is uploaded using a cash journal screen itself. In cash journal, you will create a business transaction called initial balance upload or opening balance upload. Using that, you will pass the cash journal opening values. And bank accounts. For bank accounts, you have to be a little extra careful because this is not supposed to affect your BRS on SAP. So you have to consider all the values according to your GL account, whatever is open, and all the value dates, check numbers, transfer numbers, whatever it is. Because in SAP, when they're performing BRS, it should not create any problem. They should not come and say that, no, we want to clear this open BRS item, but we are unable to identify the check numbers. Check numbers are missing. So you have to ensure all the relevant information for your bank accounts are updated. If it is check payment, ensure that check numbers are updated. If it is bank payments, your transfer reference numbers are updated. And again, same point, you have to verify the sum of all the open items with your bank GL account. At any given point of a time, your breakup of trial balance should not exceed your trial balance value. They should match 100% without any deviation. Clear? Wherever you find that there is a difference, you will have to send it back to your client, asking them to rectify the numbers. They will rectify the numbers, they will match the figures and then send it back to you. Depreciation for current year, what we are going to do, we are going to run the depreciation program. We will not upload depreciation value manually. So people might specifically ask you, how did you upload the depreciation figures? Current year depreciation figure, we will not pass manual JV. It's a system driven entry. You will run the depreciation program. And stock, this stock is again uploaded from the site. Consultants will load initial stock upload using MB1C transaction with movement type of 561. When they do it, based on the standard cost estimation and all, which is already performed as part of your prior cutover activities, when they load the stock value, they are not going to put the number, they are only going to put the stock quantity. What is the quantity of each material? Based on the material master standard or moving average price, system will bring the value into your balance sheet account. And you have to ensure after uploading of all your stock values in the balance sheet are tallying. If not, you'll have to do some kind of adjustments. Price change, these things will have to be performed. Next one, all your P&L accounts. For all the P&L accounts, we do not need the breakup. We only need the account wise closing balance. For each GL account, what is the closing balance? That's it. And that too, you are going to bring only the current year figures, not the previous year figures. Because last year P&L figures are already part of your retained earnings. Is that right? P&L accounts will not have data carry forward function. Am I correct? P&L account will become zero. Still
we need to upload, no sir, but if I see that particular month TB, it will not match it.
Only current year figures you are going to upload, not previous year. When I say this, let's say I have rent expense and I've been paying rent from 2003, correct? Let's say 2003 to 2022 is one point and 2023 is the other point. Let's say in 2023, since we are going live in the month of March, we would have paid only 2 months rent. let's say I'll put only 60,000, and this may be some 8 lakhs, imaginary figures. Now, when I do this rent expense migration into SAP, I'm not supposed to show 8 lakh 60. If I'm showing this, when I do a P&L on SAP, my rent will bring 8 lakh 60. Is my rent for the current year 8 lakh 60 or only 60?
Only 60.
How much?
Only
It is
60.
only 60,000. The rent of previous years is already been taken care of, and the values are already adjusted in your retained earnings account. Am I correct?
Got it.
Right. So if you are uploading the overall value like this, you are wrong. So you might get questions on these areas also. Your interviewer might ask like this to check your skill set, to check your proper knowledge. If you are really aware of this, or you are just like that telling. If you tell we will upload 8 lakh 60,000, gone, you're wrong. You have not worked on any project, because we don't do this. Clear? Why we will not put 8 lakh 60,000?
Yes, sir. Yes.
All your P&L accounts, you are going to put only the current year figures, because your trial balance is not going to contain last year number, right? Is that right? Your trial balance is not going to consider last year number. So anyways, this I'll show separately in detail. Now, this is how we are going to split the trial balance into different activities, P&L accounts. Any doubt so far? How we are going to split this? GL open items, GL non-open items. And when you explain these portions in your interview, make sure you are able to justify your statements. They might ask, what do you mean by breakup? How do you get the breakup? Who will prepare that file? How do you verify that everything is fine and all? You have to tell that you will work closely with the business core team members and then get the data. And as a consultant, you will have to do your internal reconciliations to make sure the data given is accurate, is in the form of SAP. And when you upload, when you download, you are going to do the reconciliation. The trial balance that is uploaded into SAP, trial balance that is downloaded from SAP are exactly the same. So what your client is going to do, once you load the data in SAP, you will download it. When you download the data, you are going to get SAP account number, the values from SAP, and you are going to share that SAP downloaded data to your client. What your client will simply do, he will simply do a VLOOKUP formula in Excel. He will just do a VLOOKUP for this account. He will bring the value from your SAP trial balance. Then he'll put true false to make sure this account from SAP is showing the same number. He will say, okay, my trial balance is correct only when he will find everything is matching according to his legacy values. There might be cases where they may realize that no, the balance, we don't want to keep this, we want to change this, adjust this into other account. You might get certain corrections once you upload the data. Then you'll have to pass rectification entries. After passing rectification entries, again pull out the trial balance, send it to your client. And you have to get TB sign off. There is something called a trial balance sign off. You'll have to share the trial balance to your client over the email. They will have to review it, verify, confirm back that the data uploaded in SAP is correct. This TB sign off is one of the mandatory checklists before you go live for a project. Clear? Now, once you upload everything, you will have technical or migration GL accounts, which are basically 8 series, right? When you upload this, after uploading TB in SAP, some of 8 series accounts must be 0. If the sum of 8 series accounts is not becoming 0, your data upload is wrong. Somewhere you did a mistake. Either there is a duplicate entry posted, something like that had happened. You have to do a reconciliation. Ensure that your sum of 8 series accounts, if you are using one account should become 0. If you are using 4, 5, 8 series accounts, sum of 4, 5, 8 series accounts must be 0. Because if your trial balance total is 0, your 8 series GL account total should also be 0, because your 8 series is just shadowing your trial balance. Once the trial balance upload is completed, 8 series account balance is becoming 0. You have to block this 8 series GL accounts for posting. No further entries are allowed in this account. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Any questions so far?
No, sir.
Okay. Just review this, and then in the next session, we will talk about the different other topics. Let me stop this.